Hello and welcome to another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Tune in weekly as Donnie and David discuss all things pyro, from the business aspect of the industry to technical tips and mesmerizing pyro designs. On Pyro Unleashed, we invite cutting-edge experts to the podcast to discuss their role in making this industry a success. So, sit back and unleash your inner pyro with us.
Episode number 15. How are you doing, Donnie?
I am doing good. We are next to last on an
Next
episode
to
list.
last. Yeah,
next
we'll talk
to last.
about that, I think, a little bit more at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
anything?
really good. Go ahead.
Yeah, sounds. Yeah, no, I was just going to ask you if you had anything exciting from the weekend or anything you had going on lately.
Just unloaded a 1.3 container, so fresh off the boat. We got 7-inch shells, and not the 1.4 version, the 1.3 version.
Nice.
So, yeah, this week's sponsorship is from Dominator. Dominator Fireworks is a China-based supplier of all things pyrotechnics, from sparklers to 8-inch shells, everything in between. Dominator offers almost double the SKUs of other suppliers. Dominator Fireworks was established almost 2 decades ago and has been a reliable, trusted supplier in the industry since 2005. Dominator has been a lifelong supporter of the PGI, NFA, APA, countless regional clubs, organizations, and now the Pyro Unleashed podcast. So,
Absolutely. Again, yeah, thank you to Dominator Fireworks for helping us out this season and
exactly.
hooking us up with some stuff to kind of be our sponsor. And so,
Ed and Matt, we do appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another plug here for us, guys. Obviously, is Discord. We do include our Discord link on all of our on our Facebook, put out every week for our episodes. So again, hop over on Discord. We usually hop on there a lot of times on Tuesday evenings and chat with everybody and have a good time. And so come on over and join us and talk about fireworks and your thoughts on our episodes and ideas for future episodes. So
yeah, I'm guessing you'll probably jump on right away. I got to edit this, and but I always jump on after, and we always have fun for at least a couple hours. And
yeah, absolutely.
hang
Yeah,
out, play games or something on there. Yeah.
Yes, somebody always has a finale file going and showing some
somebody
videos or something.
Somebody has a finale video going.
Yeah,
usually
so
you're making fun of somebody.
Yeah.
We've been recording voices and.
Oh yeah, soundboard.
Yeah,
Soundboard's a good time over there.
Everybody wants the soundboard on. But.
Right, yeah. So you want to unleash on who we have for our guest this week?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good episode. Got Garisson on. How you doing, buddy?
I am good. How are you, gentlemen?
Good, man. Good.
Fantastic.
Good to be here.
Yeah, kind of want to talk a little bit about who you are, and I mean, obviously, Donnie and I know who you are, but chat up a little bit who you are and what you're doing in the pyro industry, how you got started. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of go question by question here. So,
sounds good. So, I'm Garisson Risner. I live up here in North Dakota, middle of nowhere, Midwestern North Dakota.
It's a place to be, man.
It is. It has a lot of opportunity up here. So that's one reason why I do love it, and I stick around up here.
Yeah.
A lot of people would probably know me more from hanging out with Cody B a lot.
Yeah.
That's probably kind of how some people started to get to know me in the industry. That's not necessarily how I got started in pyro, though.
Yeah.
So love for pyro started when I was much younger. I was the kid at, let's say 6, 7 years old, and my parents or somebody else might ask me, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" And I'd always say money. They'd be like, "What do you want money for?" I'd be like, "Well, I want to buy fireworks on the 4th of July."
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's where the true love for pyro came in. And then, it was, as you got older and you got more money, you'd go to the fireworks stand, you spend more and more money. And then all of a sudden it was some friends were getting together and we were pulling our money together. And then I thought one day I was like, man, I wonder how much I need to buy wholesale. Right. And then that was the first time I Googled, buying fireworks wholesaler and wholesale. And at the time, the company coming on real strong was Red Apple at the time. They were shipping, they were really popular. So started ordering from them. And I remember buying my first case of canister shells instead of just a 24 kit, right?
Yeah.
That was when the whole love and the idea of creating a fireworks show, that's where it was born, probably about 10 years ago, let's say.
Nice.
Okay.
And so that's how I got started building shows and wanting to get into the industry. As far as on a backyard perspective, as far as shooting shows like we do now, that started where literally a buddy of mine came up to me and goes, "Hey, you always buy way too many fireworks on the 4th of July." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." And he goes, "Any chance you got any left over?" And I said, "Well, of course I do. I always have pyro." And he goes, "Well, my son's getting married." And he goes, "Could you shoot some fireworks at the wedding?" And I said, "Sure. What do you think?" And he goes, "How about I'll give you $1,000? Like, can you shoot $1,000 worth of fireworks?" And of course, I just took $1,000 worth of fireworks and I shot $1,000 worth of fireworks. Right?
Yeah.
Like I was just happy to be shooting them off for free.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was where the display stuff was actually born.
Right on. So,
and now we do displays, and now we're moving into the retail side of things too.
okay, are you? Okay, perfect. So, do you just primarily do just consumer and pro, or do you do the 1-3 as well then?
Just consumer and pro.
Okay, perfect. Gotcha. Very good. Very good. And what do you do as a full-time job? Is pyro full-time for you then, or?
Now it's morphing into full time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I used to be in the cattle industry. So
Okay, right on. That's awesome.
Grew up, I was the farm ranch kid. That was my whole life. Used to break horses, stuff like that. Got into cattle. I used to run cattle, and then had some life stuff happen and sold out of that industry. And when I did that, I actually purchased a bar and grill. So then I was a bar owner. I was bartending all the time. We had a full restaurant connected to it. So I was doing that. I did that for about 4 years, just shy of 4 years. And then last November, we had a kitchen fire.
Oh, no.
And the place burned. So while we've been waiting, and the insurance process is timely by any means, as we can all imagine.
Yeah, insurance.
And so with the process of that, I'm not the kind to sit around. Like I can't sit.
Yeah.
So it was, hey, let's see what we can do. So it was just going more into the pyro world. And as I dove into the pyro industry more, just going to this event, that event, here and there, doors started opening, as the more we went to. And now I'm sitting here at a position where I have to look at this and go, where's this taking me? Where's life taking me? What am I going to do full time? When we do figure out what's happening with insurance, am I going to get back into the bar and fireworks? Right now, it's looking like, and I'm loving the idea of it, full sending into the pyro side of things.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing full time right now is kind of a tough question to answer. Right now, it is pyro full time.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good. Really good. So I know we talked a little bit off air, and obviously, like you already mentioned, you've been on YouTube. You're pretty well known because of Cody B, and I'm a pretty big fan of Cody V. I'll be honest, I think people kind of hate on him a little bit. I think he's hated on because he's doing a really good job on YouTube. I mean, he's the most known person on YouTube.
For sure.
And he's good at what he does. Little Birdie kind of told me you're looking at starting a YouTube channel just for doing pyro as well.
Yeah, I am. So I decided to start my own channel. It's called KingofBoom 5. And I would like to touch a little bit on that whole, you're right, Cody does get hated on a bit. Yeah. And one thing I always chalk it up to is, people love to hate. Love him or hate him, Tom Brady could have been, anointed to sainthood and people still would have hated the guy, right? So
exactly.
If you're not successful enough, people look down on you. If you're too successful, they love to hate. So I guess it comes with the territory. It is what it is. In the end, people still watch his content. He still has the subs. He still has the views. And that's an unarguable statement, whether you like the guy or not.
Yes, sir.
He lives about, let's just say, an hour away from me. We've hung out for years now. I've known him. That doesn't necessarily mean that every single thing he does, do I think is the greatest thing, right? Sure. I mean, we're all human.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So don't crucify me through, acquaintances or friendships, but
exactly.
Also, I will say he is a friend of mine, and I'm thankful to have gotten to know him, to be a part of his channel and stuff. And I am thankful to have the opportunity now through being exposed to the YouTube side of things, to be able to start my own channel and move forward with my version of what I want to show to the pyro world,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
rest of the world about pyro.
Yeah. Awesome. And what all are you planning on doing on King of Boom 5?
Ooh, good question.
Loaded question, huh?
It is a loaded question. I would love to be able to do a little bit of everything. And I guess when I say that, I would say from store walkthroughs to going to events that are throughout the pyro industry, let's say
Yeah.
NFA, Sky Wars, companies' demos.
Mhm.
So like RKM or Spirit or Superior or whatever, doing stuff like that, right? Breaking down how to build shows or techniques that I use in the 1-4 market, because let's be honest, there are majority of Americans are not shooting 1-3 product.
Exactly.
Vast majority of Americans are shooting 1-4, possibly some 1-4 Pro.
Yep.
So coming up with techniques and ways to utilize, through my experience over the years, 1-4 product to make your fireworks look as cool as they can. So some tutorial type stuff, as well as, let's be honest, we all want to see some cool shit, right?
Yep.
We all want to see some
Exactly.
stuff that's just
Right. Yeah.
exciting, fun, hammer down. And so I think we have some really big projects that I don't want to state yet,
Yeah. No,
but
I
I
wouldn't
do
want you
have
to.
some really big projects coming down the line that I think are going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, on Cody's channel, we had done some stuff that was pretty wild, like 450,000 shots, 4,000 salutes, 5,000 cans. Those are things
that
that I
was the
have.
latest one, right? From Dominator
Yes.
sponsorship. Yep, that was freaking
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
So speaking of Dominator,
Yeah,
right?
speaking of Dominator.
Them teaming up with us to shoot that was an absolutely incredible experience that I can't even put into words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being the guy that just always was doing backyard stuff, to do something like that was really incredible. So I plan to bring stuff that is exciting like that also to the channel, that are going to be pretty epic. One of my, and I'll just say this one of my goals, and I don't know how to pull this thing together yet. Obviously, we live in an area where we have a lot of space, but you're going to need a lot of space. But I want to shoot like a 50-gallon drum of tannerite with a 50 cal from a mile away. And set up windows to see how far away you blow out windows.
Yeah.
So just some cool random stuff like that you probably never would see. That's some of the big things that I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so kind of going back to, like, obviously the Dominator sending you guys 5,000 cans, like seeing all that, like, because it all came through RKM and then came to you guys. Because I mean, you guys aren't, you guys weren't the importers.
Yep.
So seeing all that come through, we started seeing it and we're like, well, this is going to be interesting. It's a lot of cans coming through.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that. And yeah,
For sure.
looking forward to seeing what all you do, man. It's going to be interesting.
It was a fun project that was a lot of work. I am very thankful to be surrounded by amazing people. I have some great friends, and to team up with them and have them come together to help pull some of these projects off, where people like Cody and I get a lot of love, but in the end, it's a lot of friends that come together to just do these things that they enjoy also, even though they're not in front of the camera as much. So I am very thankful, and shout out to them for, always supporting me and helping me with these kind of projects. And, looking forward to incorporating them more in the new channel also.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be incorporating a lot of that. One of the things that I want to try to figure out how to portray is the life of a pyro.
Yes.
A lot of people don't get to know what we do either on a daily in the pyro stuff. They only see the show, right? Maybe a couple minutes to set up or the show, but nobody gets to see the life of a pyro or how or them with their friends or anything.
Yep.
So I think that is something we definitely want to try to bring to the channel also a bit more.
Yeah, most definitely. So I know you're talking about. I think you and I talked about it a little bit on the backside, but we were talking about. You were looking for. You're like, well, man, this is really expensive. So if you know anybody that's looking for sponsorship, like, if somebody is listening and they want to help sponsor you, or help do something, like, how can somebody reach you? Like, I want to be as helpful to you as I can in this, and I think this is one of the ways that we can support starting out a YouTube channel that I foresee getting huge a huge backing on. So where can they reach you at?
I really appreciate that. I would say the best way right now, without having to give my phone number straight out,
Yeah, no,
is
exactly.
just email me at pegasusilluminations@gmail.com. That is
Okay.
my display email for the display company. That is also the name of the display company. If anybody had an interest in that, let me know. I tell you what, we are very open-minded and very willing to work and work hard to achieve things. So obviously this channel is getting built from the ground up, right? And maybe we don't have 800,000 subs like Cody does, but one thing we do have is work ethic and the drive to build this thing to large scale.
Yeah.
This is not something that I am just doing for the random heck of it. This is something that I am actively working to grow, putting money in, purchasing product when I go to different places to shoot. So this isn't somewhere it's like, oh, if we do get a video, we're just going to upload it once a month and it's just fun. Like, it is fun, don't get me wrong, but this is something that we're actively pursuing to grow. So even if somebody were to be like, well, maybe they don't have the 800,000 subs, but you know what, these guys are pushing, I think it would be worth investing into us, in sponsoring in us, because of what we are growing into,
Yeah.
and at a decent rate.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll tell you, like, man, we were, I was out in the field setting up, and then on actually it was our demo, right? And we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I was like, I hear somebody was like, Garrison's here, and I'm like, what? There's no way. He drove all the way over here, and yeah, I mean, sure enough, man, you came and drove all the way over. You were picking up products, so that was really
Yeah,
cool to get that connection and see you out there. So
for sure. And that's the other thing that I really would like to throw out there to anyone that's listening, or to you, David or Donnie, is I'm not afraid to travel.
yeah,
One reason why I'm also looking at doing this full time instead of getting back into a different industry that I already was in, was the ability to be flexible and pursue some of these things. So, when you said coming out to your demo, I've been wanting to come to your guys' demo, but
yeah,
I hadn't had the opportunity, and I was going, you know what, I have the time, I'm doing it.
yeah, heck yeah,
I'm not afraid to travel. So if somebody's like, hey, I'm not saying I can make it to everybody's $500 backyard show by any means, but hey, if we have a legit project that somebody's like, hey, I want to do this, are you interested in doing this? Like, get a hold of me. I'm motivated and I want to do these things, right? And we will put our level best effort to make it the best that we can make it to our ability.
yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
So they're kind of talking about, obviously growing your YouTube channel, stuff like that, and your connection with Cody B. How do you plan to differentiate your new channel from the connections and work that you've done on Cody B? Like what are your future ideas to show that I'm different than what that content is, to get subscribers and more support?
Yeah. So I want to say this without being dissing in a sense.
No, absolutely.
No, yeah. No, that's the whole. Yeah, you're good.
I'll be different because it's me, and that's not saying I'm better or anything, but I think I will bring a different vibe, a different feel, a different charisma than Cody does. So Cody brings his, how do I say this? Cody brings his character to the table, right?
Yeah.
And I think my character is definitely different than Cody's character, but I'm also wanting to bring in other characters. So when I said this earlier about wanting to bring the life and the friends that help make everything that you guys have gotten to see on Cody's channel, as well as on my channel, to life, I want to bring those characters in more. And that's one thing that I really want to differentiate, is showing more of the behind the scenes and a personal aspect of it. And maybe not so much of a, like, I want to do demos and stuff like that. Like you see a lot of times out at the gravel pit, right? We just have fireworks and we're going to go light them off. But I want to do more things that are maybe more creative or show building type of things. Like, for an example, I did a video and I didn't show it because of the sake of YouTube exactly how I did it. But I always had the curiosity of, if you had a bunch of fuse and you balled it up and taped it up, what happens to it, right?
Yep.
It's not a specific unboxing. It's not a specific assortment. It's some random ass crap that I'm like, well, let's see what it does. I live in the middle of nowhere. We have fields that are mile by a mile before the nearest piece of property or house is. So when we have 2 inches of snow, we can put a module in the middle of a mile square and do whatever we want. There is nothing that I have to worry about harming. So I
Yeah,
think
that's
that is
awesome.
something that I can bring to the table that maybe Cody hasn't as much, where he's stuck with certain things that are readily available. I would
Yeah.
like to find things out of the box to do.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. That's gonna be really cool. So, with that being said, like, what are your rules locally? Like, how do you guys have designated times you can or can't do fireworks? Do you have to pull permits? Like, what is it like there to get to do a fireworks show or even test stuff? Really?
As far as demoing stuff, you, so the state of North Dakota does not have any state regulatory for the ignition of the fireworks for any particular time of the year.
Okay.
You have to be in compliance with local noise ordinances or regulations or burn bans. So
Okay.
if your city doesn't allow the ignition of fireworks, other than from, let's say, the 27th of June to the 5th of July, then obviously you can't. Then it goes, as soon as you're out of city limits, then it goes by what the county laws are. Typically, the county laws are all following the state laws, aside from burn ban. So if you're in a burn ban, obviously the ignition of fireworks is not allowed. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
can ignite fireworks and demo products year round, which works great for guys like Cody and I, where we can just walk out in our backyard and go light off some fireworks, right? Unless we're in a burn ban. So
Yeah.
we have it. It's really easy in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's similar as far as the display side goes. I would say we have some laxer laws for displays, but if you want to shoot outside of the 4th of July, then you have to go get permission or get a permit from the city that you are shooting in or something like that, right? If you are shooting in the 4th of July and area where it is legal to ignite fireworks within that city limits, and you are not shooting 1-3 product, you can just go do a show because
Okay.
it is legal to have the ignition of the
Yeah.
fireworks, right? And it's not 1-3.
Yeah.
So that's where we were able to come onto the scene rather easily as a display company from nothing, was the fact that we didn't have to have a lot of special stuff to get started. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Um,
sense.
Obviously, we ran into roadblocks where it wasn't the norm.
Yeah.
So convincing cities to allow us outside of the 4th of July is where we ran into things. Now,
Yeah.
as we started to do it more, as we started to become more well known, I don't know if I said that right. As we started to do this more often within the state and surrounding area, and doing things on Cody's channel that were rather large, that people started to take note. Obviously, when I would book a show outside of the 4th of July at a small town or something, and I would go to them and I would go to one of their city council meetings, be like, hey, what do you guys think at this event of having a display?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, we've heard of you. Yeah, let's do it. To where before they were like, who's this dude? Is he just going to set some fireworks up and go light them with a torch,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
name
that's kind of been the
recognition. Yeah.
process.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. That makes complete sense.
So I know you touched briefly earlier on back on you like to travel,
Mhm.
Sky Wars, stuff like that. Have you been to Sky Wars personally, or?
I was in Sky Wars in 22. I was at Sky
Okay.
Wars for the
Okay.
first time, and we have the Airbnb booked, and I am going down. Actually, going to be staying with Chris Elliott and one of his buddies, Lee, and stuff. So,
Oh, nice. You're gonna be hanging out with Lee the whole time too?
oh yeah,
That's
Lee
what's
and I
up.
booked a Airbnb together, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll
Yeah,
be there. I'm bringing down the box truck for pre-orders. So
awesome,
yeah.
awesome. I'll see if I bring the car or the pickup. That'll determine if I have you bring me anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes these runs where you're not picking up product, it's nice to jump in the Vet or the Mustang and bring that down instead of bringing the pickup all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Gas.
And
yeah.
so then on that note, then any other events that you plan to attend this year as well?
So I will be at NFA.
Okay. Awesome.
I plan to go there for the first time. I've never been. And
It's worth it.
then,
It's awesome to go.
awesome. So I've heard that has just every vendor, China suppliers, stuff like that. It's just loaded with that type of connection that an individual could make.
Yes. Exactly. I think they've already sold out the the vendor, not I guess not the vendor, but the trade show booths. They're all completely sold out. I think it was like 72 or 96 hours or something like that. It was pretty quick. It was
Wow.
astronomical. Yeah,
That's incredible. And that's the first time that's happened, correct? In the history
it
of
is.
NFA?
Yeah, in the history of NFA, yeah, it's pretty impressive. So,
That is really cool.
really looking forward to this year. Yeah, most definitely.
For sure. And then I will be attending PGI. I've actually got to this week get on. That's not far away for me. It's 10 hours, right?
Nice.
So definitely going to be at something like that. I got to get on and find an Airbnb or a hotel. The other ones, I already have everything booked, so I'm for sure going. I'm going to go to PGI, but it's not booked yet. But I do plan to be at PGI for the first time. Believe it or not, that thing's been in Fargo,
Okay.
it's been in Wyoming, and I've never made it to. I made it to Sky Wars and other things, but I don't make it to PGI for some reason. So it's like, I don't know, maybe one day I got to get down to Moapa. I don't know if I got the nuts to go down there, but we'll see.
That's crazy. I've heard that is just crazy.
Right? I've heard it's literally insanity. One day I'll get down there and film it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, if you make it out to PGI early and you want to, plug in a couple cues for, Sunday night's display, easy plug.
Hey, let's keep in contact. I love doing that. That's how you learn. That's one thing why I said, and I'm gonna use this as an example because I know this is a super hot topic within the industry. And I'm gonna completely throw myself under the bus saying I used to use them all the time, and this is how I learned was by going to events. If I had to give any single individual a single suggestion for getting into pyro, I would say go to these events and just go volunteer. Sign up to be a volunteer helper and walk in and just say, hey, I know nothing. Tell me what you can teach me.
Yeah.
And
clubs are key. I don't know if you guys have any clubs local to you or
not really, area, but even if you got to travel, if you're interested in getting into this thing, go find a club. Go to Sky Wars, whatever. Sign up to be a volunteer. Go down to that event down in Arizona, the Winter Blast, right? Go find some of this stuff and go talk to people that shoot pyro and be a judge for yourself. But so one example is I used to use milk crate racks, right? I just didn't think anything of it. I live up here in the middle of nowhere. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's cheap, whatever. I didn't have other pyros around me telling me, hey, this is why you should not do that. So I did it, right? Until I went to an event and then started talking to people and they were like, hey, this is why we don't recommend it. And then I made the decision for myself if I thought I should or shouldn't, right? So that's why I say, like, don't always judge me for maybe who I'm around or what somebody else does because I'm in a learning state. I'm wanting to learn. I'm willing to learn. I'm going to these events to learn more, to try to figure out stuff. And how you do that is by what you just said, David. Hey, if you're there early, come help us hook some stuff up. And I'm going, heck yeah, I love doing stuff like that. That's how you learn. That's how you see other stuff, right?
It is exactly. Yeah, I actually kind of prelim just finished the show we're doing at PGI, and it's in the range of like 4,700 cues. So
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. We're looking forward to it.
For sure. I can only imagine. That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit more about it after, but yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure.
That is. Can you tell me what kind of product you're using on that show?
Mercy. Yeah, we're going to be using Night Owl, Dominator. We're going to be using Chuang Mei, Hoku. So it's going to be everything from Pro Line to 1.3.
Okay.
I think we're going to go. I know we're going to do up to 8-inch shells, and there's been some communication about some other stuff, but we're still working all that out.
Can you go larger than 8 at this venue?
You can. You can go all the way up to 24 inches, 24-inch shells this year.
That's incredible.
So, yeah.
Wait, that's
I know of like, I know of like 3 of them at least that are going to go.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, there will definitely be some there.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's way cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be 100% transparent, like, I like 16s, I like 24s, and I mean this to dog anybody, but like, really, once you get above like an 8-inch shell, like, I feel like it just kind of becomes just kind of like, well, my fireworks bigger, kind of sense. It's, I don't know, you're really starting to get distance away, and at 24, I mean, you're 200 or 2,400 feet away from a crowd at that point. I mean, that's just astronomical.
It really is. And yes, you are obtaining size. Don't get me wrong. And it's an incredible thing to watch, and it's an incredible feat to do. I won't discredit it in the least bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But the further away you get, the smaller the firework looks. So how much are you starting
Exactly.
to actually gain, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yep, I 100% agree with you. So,
I think that is one of the cool things about shooting, let's say 1.4 Pro, is those shows are typically a closer proximity show. I have been personally a
yes.
part of some shows that are 1.3 that are shot farther away, that they are pretty and they are nice, right? But the individual didn't go for an entire elegant look. They still went with what I would call a hammer down fire aspect,
Yep.
but they
Yep.
could not shoot large enough shells to, in my opinion, resonate because of the distance with the spectators. To where
Yeah.
if they would have moved it closer and shot 1.4, they could have gotten the more audible effect that would have resonated better with the spectators as far as a hammered down show versus an elegant show. So, and I
Yep.
think a lot of times you see people forget to take into account their crowd and their distance as far as
Yeah,
the type of
exactly.
show that they're building.
Yeah. Yeah, and Donnie and I have talked about this quite a bit. Like, if you look back at, I mean, at both of our both of our Skywar shows this last year, like we both put, you know, I think you had 3s through 6s as well, right, Donnie, in your
Yeah.
same row. So I did the same thing, and I mean, it's you can see, you know, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. You can see the height difference.
The layers.
You can see, yeah, exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see the layers. So, um, that's part of the battle in doing fireworks is, you know, you don't want them too close, but you don't want them too far.
Yep. For sure. For sure. And it's knowing what the individuals might want or sometimes surprising them with a show. But it's
Yeah.
amazing how you can have different. We just shot a video last night, actually, that's going to be
Okay.
dropping out this weekend. It's a very unique style video, but we had two entirely different shows. And I'm really intrigued to see how this resonates with people as far as which one people like better, because you're talking two completely different style of effects, but yet no show was, in my opinion, good or bad because of it. It's just two different styles. It's going to depend on personal preference. You know, one
Yeah.
was very symmetrical, very elegant, more timed out, to where the other one was like hammered down, you know, bigger, let's say running all cans with some symmetry in it, right? But you're just, again, you're talking different styles of shows. Not that anything is better or worse than another. It's all personal preference a lot in fireworks, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that um, things that we have to remember, like as much as you know, I am shooting a show for a town. Like it is my artistry. Like it is me putting myself in the sky, right? And as much as I want others to appreciate it, like
Still you.
it's me exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's so. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a weird demographic in the pyro industry. Like, yeah, you go to shoot a pyro musical, and you know, half the crowd might like it, half the crowd might not.
Yeah.
But then they do also have to realize, like, well, I did shoot it for you, but this is who I am in the sky. Like, this is me putting my heart out there, you know, designing something that I've created. Like, you know, Picasso wasn't loved by everybody, so
Right?
it's I don't know. It's kind of how I describe it.
I could not agree more. In fact, that is what this video focused on, was using product from one website, seeing how how different individual brains work. That was the whole
Yeah,
focus on it. So it had to be from one website with the same budget, and it had to last the same amount of time. But it's guys versus girls, and the focus was on how are they going to pick out product versus, let's say, me pick out product. Um,
okay.
and that was the whole theme behind it, is just having the appreciation for it and trying to portray to people the difference in how people look at product differently and how you are expressing yourself. In the end, when you are shooting a show, you are letting, in my opinion, people into your brain. You're expressing
You
your
are.
brain, your version of your your version of artistry into the sky, like you said, and letting them into your version of your brain of how it works a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the way I've always looked at it too when I put on shows. It's a presentation. It's a whole entire production
Yeah,
that you're putting out there. That is you and who you are and how you envision the fireworks match with the particular music that you're doing. And it's all about how you feel and what you think and an expression of yourself.
for
Yeah.
sure. I could not agree more.
Exactly.
So now you're talking about, like picking product and stuff like that. Like, do you have a favorite brand of product? Now I see you're wearing a hat by one company.
I was just going to ask the same question.
You just bought product from another company. Do you have a favorite brand that you go to when you're picking that product?
Boy, I really hate to throw anyone under the bus when I say favorites. I have a lot of factors as to why I purchase product from where I purchase it. Okay. Some of it may have to do with sponsorship. So, like last year, we did get 2 of the shows sponsored, 50% of the show by Superior Fireworks. And so we ran a lot of Superior Fireworks last year, right?
Okay.
So sometimes budget can have a lot to do with it, but I would never shoot a product, even if it was sponsored, if I didn't like it. Like if I didn't think my customer was going to appreciate that show with that product, I wouldn't care if I got it all for free. I still would not shoot it, right? I'm not going to back something that I'll tell you this right now on the channel. I will never purchase a product and say, just for the sake of it, or get it for free and say, I like this product. If I don't, you have to be honest with the people, because not all product is created equal. So I want to lead with that. So the process of which sometimes I purchase product is what it is. The other thing that I look at when I'm purchasing product is the website. That is huge to me. If it has good quality videos, I can watch video on, like, I will not purchase a product if I can't know what it does when I'm purchasing it. Period. I don't care what somebody says, you got to get it. If I don't know what it does, I'm not buying it. Period. If there's durations on it, if there's durations on the website and I don't have to go look this thing up on YouTube or try to figure out the duration on the video on the website, that also makes a big difference. But cost and variety to be able to purchase, because when you are purchasing from one company, if they have more of what you need, that means that you are going to purchase more product from them, meaning you're going to wind up in a higher tier, meaning you're going to get better pricing. So that is a lot of times how I have factored why I am purchasing from who I am purchasing from. Now, the 2 companies that I have in the past purchased the most from, and it has varied over the years. So if you want to call these my favorites, I used to purchase a lot of product from Red Apple, and then I have not purchased any from them in a long time. I've purchased lots of product from Superior Fireworks. They have been a great company, a great friend of mine. And then I've also purchased a lot from Spirit of 76. If I had to pick a single favorite, I would have to say Spirit of 76, because they have such a wide selection of Pro line, as well as the Consumer 1.4, right? That has been why. Now, one of the things that, for an example, and I'm actually going to shoot up straight up with you why I haven't gone with shooting a lot of, let's say, RKM, which that is probably the next one that I'm going to start shooting, is because,
definitely.
I already had a tier bracket with Spirit of 76, right? That I purchased from the past until I knew more about RKM and stuff, right? And then like last year, how I learned about RKM actually was through Cody when he demoed a bunch of your guys' product, right? So
and we were shooting. I think he was shooting a lot of the Fireworks Plus stuff that we have too. The Fireworks Plus website.
Tons of it. In fact, we did a little. We did a show for a town that we went. It was out east, and it was like, I don't know, middle of winter time, and he had some of that stuff. He's like, hey, they want me to create a show with them. I'm like, dude, let's just go donate to a town and we'll go make their weekend,
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how I got to know you guys. But there was some stuff already in motion, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
That you can't. So I like to source. My goal in the future is to be purchasing enough product that you wind up on the higher tier levels of everything, so it financially makes sense to start purchasing the best of the best from every option that is available, if that makes sense.
And I'll tell you, like, genuinely, like, we are very like brand conscious here. Like we want to make awareness to different brands and like what are people buying, why are they buying it. So I mean, I appreciate it. They're all good information.
My biggest thing this is how my brain works when I'm creating shows, is I love to match up effects, right? So in the 1.4 industry, it is very difficult in typical consumer products to get fireworks that really match. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Especially if you
It
get
does, yeah.
into what they're, preferred products, it's just absolutely impossible darn near. And so when you start talking pro line, I like having for an example, you can get a 200 gram red, white, and blue peony. And then you can get a 500 gram red, white, and blue peony. Then you can get a 500 gram red, white, and blue peony in, let's say, a fan shape. Or you can get a red, white, and blue peony in a NOAP that company is offering, right? So if I'm on a website and I can see those 5 options in a pro line where I don't have to poke it because it has an igniter port, I'm obviously, because of my style of show, I'm going to gravitate towards that because of that versus a bunch of random mix effects in one product. So that's one reason why I tend to lean to, one way or another. But it's an amazing time to be a part of everything because of the pro line that's coming out, such as RKM. There are so many other companies that are starting to do this pro line where they're bringing in stuff like that. Like you guys have, I don't know, what did you guys send us? 50, 75 different Comets?
Yeah, there was a lot. I know there was quite a few, and you guys were creating slices out of them and having a lot of fun and stuff with
exactly.
them. But, yeah, gosh, I don't even remember how many it was, but yes, it was an astronomical amount.
It was. So as time goes on, obviously other companies are going to be getting, more of this pro line in because COVID held a lot of it up, right? So now companies, you're starting to see their inventories coming in, and now I'm getting to go on websites and going, holy crap, yeah, I was on here, 8 months ago, and I was going, oh, they don't have enough selection to justify taking a full order from. And now I'm going, oh, wow, I really have to assess this because they have a lot of product and it's, similar cost. Or, even assessing a Comet, if you ever look, not every 30 millimeter Comet is made equal. Some of them shoot faster.
Right,
some of them, I feel like they're putting a little more lift in them. So some of them shoot slower, giving you a little more of a glitter hang time on a willow. And that all determines on how you want your show to look as to where you're buying your product from. And like I said, as this product comes in from other companies, you start assessing how you want your shows to look. You can start picking where you want to get stuff from.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Donnie. Not all Comets are created equal.
No, they're not. No, not all Comets. Yeah,
you might have a hashtag here.
I like it.
I have a hashtag.
No, but yeah, no, and yeah, like I said, I appreciate it, and I know we were just talking, and just kind of came up that you were bringing up your YouTube channel, and I really appreciate you coming on, man. This has been a lot of fun, and yeah, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we kind of move on to a couple other things?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of right now. I want to say thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is fun. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's been great getting to know you guys and talking to you off the recorder right now. It's been great, and looking forward to doing more with you guys and being a part of stuff like this in the industry overall. I want to learn from everybody else that I can, and also be able to share my perspective, right or wrong, whatever it may be, right, and learn more. But like I said, share what I've learned or whatnot through my experiences. And so I appreciate you allowing me on.
Yeah. And I'll, like I tell everybody, I do 1-3 shows too. And it's like, everybody has an opinion. My opinion's not right. Your opinion's not right. My opinion's not wrong. Your opinion's not wrong.
Yep.
I might have something that you like that I do better than what you've been doing. And you take that approach the next time you do that same thing. For sure. And really it's all about helping each other to succeed and come up in the industry.
Yep. I could not agree more. And I think we have to be very conscious as YouTubers, as shooters, as backyard enthusiasts on pro level, doesn't matter, in all aspects of this industry. We have to be very conscious and aware that this industry is constantly under fire. It's constantly for safety, this, that, whether it's government or somebody thinking that they're unsafe and nobody should have fireworks. It's constantly under fire. So doing things in a better manner, constantly being willing to learn and assess things that, hey, maybe that was a dumb idea to do that, right? Maybe I'm not going to promote that because that could end this way. I think everyone needs to be
Exactly.
aware, because this is an industry that I want to see survive, that I have a deep love for, that I never want to see go away. And so I want to make it always be fun, right? It's got to be fun. That's why we do it. It's fun. Routes are fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But we've got to
Exactly.
be conscious that we aren't hurting the industry as a whole, whether that's a retail, display, backyard, doesn't matter. YouTube doesn't matter.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. So
I think Garrison just led us right into our next segment.
he did.
He did.
Really did.
He
I
really
promise you
did.
He did. It's
He did.
wait
Yeah.
till you
Yeah.
hear it.
Our next segment here we got is our Pyro news. So we do have some, and so just last night, actually a Pasadena man was arrested for last 2 years of random explosions throughout the city of Pasadena. He was home making M80s and lighting them around the city.
What? That's just crazy.
And this is the thing that gives pyros the bad name is you got people like this that are home making things, going around lighting them and disturbing everybody, and been going for 2 years before they caught him.
Wild.
Yeah, I guess they had some technology that detected gunfire, and so that technology was detecting the explosions of the fireworks, and they were able to, I guess, triangulate where he was at.
I suppose they just, depending on the explosions, they were able to narrow it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I guess those guys taking preferred products and lighting them off in the middle of the street and running on YouTube. Watch out, boys. They got new tech.
Yeah.
Watch out. Yeah, and then the other pyro news we have here, let's see here. This one was out of, I don't know, this Weathersfield, not sure the exact city. A house fire was sparked by somebody discarding the remains of illegal fireworks in a plastic trash barrel.
So you talked about this before a couple of weeks ago or last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically they took the remains of the fireworks, put them in a burn barrel to burn them, and obviously there was stuff left over that didn't go off, and it went off in the burn barrel, started the house on fire.
Isn't that
crazy?
That
is just crazy, and I don't know. It just makes you wonder what made you think that was a good idea.
Yeah. And that's what seasoned pyro, like, that's what having training and experience, like, yeah, I'll go out and I'll burn cakes. Like, if it's done, I'll burn it. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But I also make sure that there's no wet comp left, right? I also make sure that there's, you can, if you've done fireworks for any number of years, you can look down a tube and say, well, that's fired or that hasn't fired.
Right.
The black char will let you know.
For sure. I mean, I'm not even shooting 1-3 shows, but we give a cool down time for all the products. And then immediately, before anybody is allowed to pick anything up or remove anything from the site, every product is looked into with a flashlight from a distance at an angle. Because if you look at it from an angle, you can see that black coming up the bore, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And if you don't think you see black, then that product safely gets pulled away without ever going over top of it and removed. Exactly. And so every single product, every single bore on every cake is looked at prior to disposing of. And that's whether we have a way to dispose of it in a landfill or we're burning it. But I would say even when we burn, we always burn in a metal barrel, and we live out here in the middle of nowhere. So for anybody that's ever seen me burning the product, you got to remember, I don't have anything I can damage near me, and we made sure it was empty, right? So
yeah, exactly.
You can't live in the middle of the city and throw it in a plastic barrel and then light it on fire. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. So, other pyro news. Have you been watching any of the competitions, Donnie?
I haven't watched a whole bunch of them. No, I haven't had much of a chance to watch a lot of them.
Yeah, I haven't watched them. I want to, because that's the ones over in the Philippines, I guess that I'm talking.
Yeah, I saw they started like last week, a week before, or something.
A couple weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't had the time to, take some 30, 45 minutes and watch them. But I think, what is it? Every week they have one coming out, right?
I think it's every week. Yeah, every week, like 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the other thing, I know we've been talking obviously a lot tonight about pro line and pro use and safety and stuff like that. I know just recently PGI actually announced they actually have a pro use class that they're going to be teaching this year at PGI.
Yeah.
On on August 3rd, and it's specifically designed around the use of ProLine products.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing
Um,
about that.
Obviously we've been asking, I think, for this class for a very long time,
Yeah.
and we haven't really gotten it, and so I'm just wondering if it's too little, too late to save the direction that ProLine's going.
I don't know. I maybe it might be, but I think this is a pretty solid move in the right direction. And I think that if it's not too little, too late, I think we're at a point where this is kind of our last hope, like last opportunity. Like this is just kind of the Hail Mary in the NFL, like
Right?
in the Super
Yep.
Bowl, if you follow that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how responsive that is, and yeah, hope for good results.
I could not agree more. I really hope this works out and that it does save the pro line in a sense. This was my concern when this first came out was, what is the regulation of it? What is each individual company going to accept? It was left up to the companies. And this was a product that I didn't want to see go. I think it's phenomenal for the industry. I think it's phenomenal for the
It
1-4
is.
Yeah, it
guys.
is. Oh yeah.
I think it's phenomenal for the suppliers. And if it goes away, it's going to be a blow, and I don't want to see it go. That's why I am supportive of having a regulatory class that you have to take to know how to use this product, but you don't have to have a full 1-3 license. It's a middle ground. I don't want to have to go get a container and have DOT insurance to transport said product and all that kind of stuff. So it gives a good middle ground where we can get some better product on hand that I really think is needed in the industry. So if PGI can pull something together that can be accepted nationwide as, hey, this person has the training to purchase this product, I think it would be a phenomenal idea. And I'm really hoping and rooting that it works out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I would throw onto that even more is like, if they take this away, that only means that you now have these people going out and buying cakes and separating cakes for certain
Yep.
effects. You know, that only makes it even more dangerous.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't do it, but I make sure I'm on the site that I'm going to be shooting the product at. Um, and I make sure that I'm a safe distance away, but like, not every Joe Blow from Kokomo is going to be going out and making sure they're 100 feet or 300 feet or whatever away from anybody. Like it's not going to happen. So I think it's gonna become very dangerous if something doesn't get passed to allow us to use, um, not even, I shouldn't say allow us, but if we don't continue to be able to use the pro line. Yeah.
I agree. I've always been a promoter, and I have promoted. I do it. I am obviously very safe about it on how I secure them. But taking cakes apart, taking slices out of cakes, firing them at certain times, and stuff like that. But I think you are correct that not everybody is going to do it in the safest form. Is a cake that came
Exactly.
and it's already in its original intact structure safer than a cake that's been taken apart? Well, if Proline allows for that, then I definitely think that's a win for the industry as a whole. But also another perspective to think about here is guys that have gotten used to and have accommodated for 1-4 Pro, they've taken that step. They are going to have no interest in going back to the old way.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yep.
or I should say, how much of an influx are we going to see of guys obtaining 1-3 licenses that never had an interest in it before, shouldn't technically really have it? They're going to use somebody's random ass container, right, to get their Type
Right.
54, and they're going to get their Type 54, and then because you can transport it for personal use for non-commerce, they're just going to bring it to the house. They're going to throw it in their garage, and now you're going to have how many more people with 1-3 products sitting in their garages, where if you would have just let them have 1-4 Pro, they wouldn't have been doing it. And then also, can the 1-3
That
market
or
handle the influx of people that are going to be getting their 1-3? Because I'm not going back.
that's exactly what I was just getting ready to say. Like, I don't think the ATF is ready for that influx of
Yep.
consumer or pro line users to start saying, okay, you know, uh, knock, knock, knock. Like, it's time for me to get my Type 54. Like, are they ready
Yeah.
for that? No. I mean, they can't even handle what they have now.
No.
So to triple that, quadruple that plus, it's going to get ugly.
Quickly, and I think we will see a massive influx. Because I can tell you one thing, I'm not going back. If they get rid of 1.4 Pro,
Right.
I will have my 1.3 in a very short period of time. Now, I feel like I will handle 1.3 very safely. But how many of these guys? Okay, let's say somebody gets a container, right? And they do everything safely as far as transportation, storage, all stuff like that. But are they actually? How many of these people are going to take the distance rules or in regulations that are in place actually implement it, right? I mean, these are rules that are there, but they're not enforced by law enforcement. There's not somebody standing over you saying you have to do this right now or you're going to go to jail. So basically, the only way that the consequence comes into play is once the damage is done. So do we really need this many more backyard 1.4 Pro guys having access to 8-inch shells in their backyard 200 feet from the spectators?
No.
No,
not at all.
Well, I also kind of want to be, somewhat of the devil's advocate here. Like, as much as like I enjoy 1.3, as much as I enjoy Pro line, like I don't necessarily also personally, I don't see people like, okay, prime example, you go out and you get your Type 54. All you have to do is pass a background check and seem competent enough when that ATF agent comes out. So now that's all you have to do. You don't have to take a class. You don't have to do anything. Like, you don't have to show a certificate to be able to buy 1.3 or Pro line at that point. Like, oh, I have my 54 and now I can buy everything. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I think it's a little just, I don't.
Somebody can barely know what quick match is and how it responds, right? And obtain this Type 54. Like, it's really not that hard to get a Type 54. There's a lot of regulatory stuff that comes with it that everyone should follow. That's why I've stayed out of it, is because if I do it, I want to do it the right way, and I don't feel like doing all that. I don't feel like it's worth it right now to me. But if the guy is going to do it the right way, then you need to have all this information to do it. And how many people are not going to do that? And like you said, I don't think ATF is ready for that. And there's going to be a lot of guys that are not going back if they get rid of it.
Yep, I would agree, 100%. Yep. So, perfect. Well, all right. Next week's episode is the season finale, and now that we're talking about Pro line, we are going to be talking to the man, the myth, the legend. We're going to be talking to Brian with RKM Fireworks, the owner. He is the one that dove into figuring out how to get the special permit to be able to switch 1.3 over to Pro line to UN 0431. We'll be talking to him about how RKM started and how he got into the business. Talking about how Night Owl came about. So I don't know about you, but I am super looking forward to having this chat. And
absolutely,
I don't know everything about RKM, so I'm looking forward to it. Man.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know Brian, so obviously I don't. I'll have all the questions. I mean, you probably know half the answers, but I'm definitely looking forward to be able to talk to Brian. And if you guys have questions you want us to ask Brian, email them to us. Get us on Discord. We're going to be doing that interview on May 23rd. So if you can get any questions or anything into us before that evening, we will definitely ask him. And then again, season 2 will be kicking off later this summer after the 4th of July season, and
right before PGI.
Yeah, if you have any guest ideas or any requests for guests, reach out again on email, Discord, pyrounleashedpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us over on Discord. I think again tonight I want to thank Garisson for coming on and spending the evening with us and letting us know about who Garisson is and what he wants to do, and opportunity for him to kind of promote himself and his YouTube channel. So again, Garisson,
quick plug out there again, Garisson. What's your YouTube channel once again, and where can people find you if they want to sponsor you?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. You can find me at KingofBoom 5. It's been in a learning process, but we're constantly uploading more videos now. You can get a hold of me at PegasusIlluminations@gmail.com. I will try to respond to you as time as I can. Obviously, as you guys well know, this is getting into the busy season.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
between now and the 4th, I will probably not be agreeing to any projects. But after that, we're good. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for
I
coming
will be
on, brother.
tuning into that. I will be tuning in next week. So
Discord?
Yeah, you're right there.
Oh,
I will be tuning in next week.
Yeah.
I think that will be a very interesting one to listen to. So I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, guys. So, well, in the meantime, we'll see you guys next week. But in the meantime, go out there and unleash your inner pyro.
This has been another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Come back each week for more industry insights, technical tips, and awesome pyro designs. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, remember to unleash your inner pyro with us.